In my clinical practice, I often encounter a very specific group of people. They possess resumes that anyone would envy and work with tireless dedication. Yet when they sit across from me, the first thing they usually say is, "I'm actually not as good as everyone thinks. I'm just lucky." Why does someone with clear competence feel fundamentally inadequate? Why do they build such a narrow cage for themselves when the world outside is so vast? Hello, everyone. I am a researcher of human behavior and psychology. Today, we aren't going to talk about distant clichés of success. Instead, we are going to dissect a silent but devastating psychological state, the habit of undervaluing oneself. We'll explore why your inner voice can become your own worst enemy, and the heavy price we pay for living in constant hesitation. The first thing I want you to understand is that people who undervalue themselves do not see the world through a normal lens. They are looking through a distorted mirror. In psychology, we call this a bias in core self-evaluation. For these individuals, the smallest mistake is magnified under a microscope, like a single drop of ink ruining an entire gallon of water. Conversely, their successes are minimized until they almost disappear. They tend to externalize every achievement. If they get a promotion, they say the company was short-handed. If they ace a project, they claim the task was too easy. By stripping themselves of the right to feel proud, they begin a slow, silent erosion of their own spirit. But the most dangerous consequence isn't just feeling sad. It is the silent sabotage of opportunity. When self-esteem is low, fear takes the steering wheel of your life. First, there is decision paralysis. For the self-deprecating person, every choice feels like a potential verdict on their worth. They fear that if they choose wrong, it proves they are a failure. Consequently, they watch others, often less capable than themselves, seize opportunities. They prefer the safety of a predictable failure by doing nothing over the risk of a possible failure while trying. Second is the trap of fear-based procrastination. We often mistake this for laziness, but from a psychological standpoint, many people procrastinate because they are terrified of the outcome. They delay submitting a proposal or asking someone out because as long as they haven't tried, they can cling to the illusion, "I just haven't done it yet. If I did, I'm sure I'd be fine." And third, perhaps most heartbreaking, is the devaluation of relationships. Because they don't see their own worth, they often gravitate toward people who mistreat them. They live in a constant state of fearing abandonment, believing they have nothing good enough to make someone want to stay. Where does this voice, the one saying "you aren't enough," come from? As an expert, I can tell you, no one is born hating themselves. That voice is usually an echo from the past. It might be the ghost of childhood comparisons, the weight of unrealistic parental expectations, or an educational system that only saw mistakes to be punished. The child within accepted those criticisms as the truth. Now, as an adult, you continue to use those same harsh metrics to punish yourself. You are using the eyes of people from your past to judge your value in the present. My friends, the saddest thing I see in my work is not a person who fails, but a person of immense potential who abandons themselves before the world even has a chance to reject them. Undervaluing yourself is a long-standing cognitive habit, and habits can be changed. The first step isn't to become great or confident overnight. It is to learn to be a fair observer. Try to look at yourself the way you look at a best friend. Would you insult them or deny their hard work when they succeed? Of course not. So why do you do it to yourself? Don't let fear turn you into a genius standing still in the dark. Have the courage to be imperfect, because that imperfection is the beginning of an authentic journey. I hope today's analysis has helped you understand yourself a bit more clearly. Thank you for listening. Please share your thoughts in the comments. I am always here to listen to your story. Until next time, take care.